to San Bavino. It's good to have you guys here with us.
Hey.
You got Sean Jordan, JoJo.
Hey.
And my name's Todd Wofford, T-Woff. We're continuing our Best Picture series with Hamnet. It's a movie we've been wanting to get around to for a while, but it didn't pop up on streaming for...
They took their sweet-ass time.
For as much acclaim as this movie got, it took a long time to get to where it could be streamed easily.
Which, I mean, we've given Netflix flack for their model of it should be in theaters for 17 days before it hits streaming. But there's got to be a middle ground between what they did and what Peacock does.
Yeah. Well, and to me, it's also, to put it in parlance of like, you know, I used to work retail and there was, you know, things, products that were hand sells. You know, it's like these things don't fly off the shelves. You have to work, get them to move. Movies like Hamnet, to me, for mass audiences, are hand sells.
Yeah, Hamnet's not like a blockbuster, like getting people to the theaters kind of movie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in theaters that I could tell for a long time.
No. It was, movies like this should be easier to access for audiences, not more difficult.
Yeah. I think the more ease there is in getting it, the better or the faster it'll get to the people that are actually going to enjoy it and watch it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that they're desperate to draw people to theaters, but it's like, again, with a hand sell movie like this, you have to bring your audience to the movie and not the other way around.
Yeah. And the timing was not coincidental. I don't think that the actual Oscars were, 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. And so it finally popped up around that time when it started streaming.
Yeah, a little bit late.
So I don't know if it was banking on getting a Best Picture win. It got Best Picture nom.
Yeah.
And it got Best Actress win.
Mm-hmm. It did.
Any other nominations that came through with this one?
So it was nominated for 8 Oscars. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Adapted Screenplay, Casting, which is a new category this year.
It should have gotten casting. Mm-hmm. It was good casting, especially those kids.
Mm-hmm. Original score, costume design, production design, all those are well deserved.
Costume design, it was fine.
Yeah. I was surprised Paul Mescal didn't get nominated for.
Yeah, I was too after watching it. And I had to go back and look at like who got the Best Actor nominees. It was a strong batch. I don't think Leo should have been nominated for One Battle After Another. Yeah. I enjoyed his performance, but I don't think it was strong enough that it was above Paul Mescal's for this.
No, I agree. So we are drinking 7 and 7s.
Seagram.
So this is a classic. I'd say this is the signature drink of my household and really my signature drink for years and years.
Yeah. Todd, you are synonymous with a 7 and 7.
Yeah. And I do make them strong, but like I said before, I stand behind them because they are delicious.
You measure them with your heart.
Yeah, I do. They are made with love and mixed with love.
If you've never been Todd poured, you're not loved.
They're a little bit strong. People get a little bit tipsy, and I'm not sorry for that.
Like a warm blanket being wrapped around you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and some people have correctly identified the idea that like, I'm like the grandma that sends you away full, satisfied.
Yeah. Eat, you're too skinny.
Yeah. You're going to have a delicious cocktail. I want to make sure you get served.
You're too sober, honey. Come on.
Yeah.
Drink up.
Yeah. You're too somber. We need to get you feeling good.
You need to be loosen up.
Yeah. It's a party.
Shake it out.
It's a party. We're going to treat it like a party.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a basic old Seagram 7 whiskey, and this is actually Sprite Zero because we're going to avoid a little sugar.
Yeah, because we're adults and we have duties.
Mm-hmm. So we shave off a little bit of calories.
That's right.
Not a lot, but a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about Sprite in general.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Sprite or 7-Up. I think both kind of remind me of just being sick. I feel like it's a drink that you got as a kid when you were sick.
Yeah. To help settle your tummy.
Yeah. And now when I drink it as an adult, I'm like,
Yeah. Bad memories.
It's just some visceral reminder of you were sick when you were a kid.
It's like those antibiotics that taste like bubble gum.
You know who else was sick as a kid? Hamnet.
There you go. So some background about this movie. This came out November 26th, 2025 in theaters. Grossed around $110 million in total box office worldwide.
Against a budget of how much?
A budget of around, I believe, $20 million.
Yeah, it was a pretty small production.
Yeah.
Generally small cast.
Mm-hmm.
Sets weren't super complex.
They were not. This was directed by Chloe Zhao, who won the Oscar for Nomadland.
Yeah, I was going back and looking at her filmography, and the last thing she'd really done was The Eternals, which I think she probably got a bad rap for it, but I don't think it was on her.
No.
And I also didn't hate the Eternals.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was fine. Nomadland, though, good movie. Frances McDormand got Best Picture nomination.
Best Actress.
Best Act. Did Frances win Best Actress for that?
That was her third win as Best Actress.
All right.
So, yeah.
So Chloe Zhao's got a magic touch.
She got the touch.
She got the touch.
Yeah.
What'd she do before Nomadland?
Oh, man, I don't remember. We'll have to look that up.
Oh, look.
So what was it? What did she do before?
She did The Writer.
Okay.
In 2017.
Yeah.
And then Songs My Brother Taught Me.
Mm-hmm. So she's got a pretty strong...
Yeah. Well,
record.
A good, strong, like, emotionally heavy narrative. It was an odd choice for her to be tagged as you're going to do a Marvel movie.
Yeah. They were aiming high, I guess. It was like, let's get a big time director.
They were in their bag with the Eternals because they were coming off of the big Avengers Endgame, like all of the. They were kind of coming into the next arc, and they were like, "What are we going to do?" And then they had Eternals, and man, just a bad spot for that movie.
They've aimed high though before, like with Ang Lee doing the Hulk.
Yes,
and
I don't think they were responsible for Ang Lee's Hulk, though, were they? I don't think that was Marvel.
Well, not that MCU as we know them, but there is a precedent for like Kenneth Branagh doing the first Thor movie.
Yeah,
there have been some decent directors who tackled comic book movies.
Yeah,
and I think that's what they were going for. There is like let's get the best director we can.
Well, and I think they were trying to do a big tone change off of, because you have to, if you peak at an arc, you have to come in somewhere different next, because you're going to be just by default at a lower intensity level.
Yeah.
And I think people were kind of riding the momentum, and then there's a big jarring shock. And I liked the Eternals, like I said, and I think that those characters deserve a redemption, kind of get back into the MCU as a whole. But
yeah.
I don't think it was a director problem.
No, definitely not. And definitely not a lack of talent and vision on her part.
Yeah,
sure.
Clearly, I mean, she's very successful.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the last thing she's done, or the first thing she's done since the Eternals, other than she has a couple director's credits for like a Budweiser commercial.
Really?
And a Diablo video game video.
Probably good money in those.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of like the Beatles, whenever Lennon and McCartney would pick out certain songs, like this is a lake house, this is a new boat. Literally they wrote the money makers, but then they could do the other stuff.
Yeah.
The money makers freed them up to do the experiment and do weird stuff. So, I'm sure doing the Budweiser commercial gives her the cash to make whatever movie she wants.
Well, I think I'm doing a Marvel movie also does that. I mean, that's money in the bank.
Yeah.
That you can then take $20 million and make, a Best Picture nominee of Hamnet.
Smart.
Is definitely like a artsy kind of movie.
Yeah. It's great to do movies like Hamnet. It's also great to have that financial security too.
Yeah. And 110 against a 20 budget.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty good return for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always think that good movies will find an audience one way or the other.
Yes.
Whether that's on streaming or in theaters or wherever, a good movie will find its way. So, brief summary of the movie. It basically covers a little known event, I think, to the masses in William Shakespeare's life. Because people know, we know now like the vague details of Shakespeare's life, but we don't know a lot of specifics. We know that he had 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son. The youngest were fraternal twins, and the boy passed away. There's written records of that. We don't know what he died from, anything like that. We don't know details.
Yeah, I was trying to think back on I'm not well versed enough in like English history to know when the plague was there versus when William Shakespeare was around, but that was definitely bubonic plague. Right? Yeah,
as depicted in the movie. And it makes a lot of sense because there was a huge outbreak during this time. It was rampant and violently contagious, and especially amongst kids. So
gotta be washing your hands. Man.
Yeah. And they didn't understand any of that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, they wore masks that made their nose longer because they thought the further distance the illness had to go, the safer they were.
Yeah.
Not far off.
No. So, yeah, it depicts an outbreak of plague that first affects the twin sister Judith, and then it passes to Hamnet, and he succumbs to it.
Well, and they did a good job backing up. So his wife, they did a really good job of establishing her character as being kind of witchy, having like a witchy mother and having like a reputation in town as being born of a witch, yada, yada, yada. She raises her kids to kind of know, like, be in touch with a more spiritual, like,
almost kind of druidic.
Yeah, druidic side of like magic and nature and healing and stuff like that. And so there's that layered element of Shakespeare has obviously a lot of elements of mysticism and witches in his plays, layering that into, Paul Mescal is Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And they don't immediately say that until midway through the third act.
Yeah.
But you kind of pick up on, okay, he's writing plays. You see him writing like Romeo and Juliet and kind of working out the lines of that.
Yeah.
And so you start picking up on that witchiness, and then you see, we're doing spoilers, full spoilers off of it. The son essentially switches places with Judith and says, like, take me instead. He tricks death and he takes on the plague.
Yeah.
But really, he was just breathing in her mouth.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah. But again, they didn't understand that.
Yeah, didn't understand the plague.
That's how it passes.
That's how you do it. Or wasn't matter.
Yeah.
He tricked death himself.
Yeah. And there's definitely like an implied, a subtle layer of, like you say, the supernatural, like the.
Yeah, there's definitely like a supernatural element to it.
Yeah. And of course, you're seeing the movie, a lot of it through her eyes, through Agnes, Shakespeare, or Anne. I mean,
they were pronouncing Agnes weird, right?
Yeah.
Agnes.
Well,
Agnes.
And it's like they're not really sure, because she's listed in some places as Anne, and some places she's listed as Agnes. So
you're talking about in real life?
In real life, yeah.
Okay.
So it's open for debate as to there's not much known about her either. So,
well, I know there was also speculation about Shakespeare at one point, that Shakespeare was actually a woman, and Shakespeare was a mask or a nom de plume or a beard, for lack of a better term, to kind of like male wash the playwright.
Well, a lot of his later plays were co-written, so you never know if that was somebody who was.
You big Shakespeare guy?
I mean, I went through a phase of it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good to revisit this, and because I love Hamlet. So it's my favorite of all his plays.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because it is The Lion King and you were like, that movie's great?
Yeah, it definitely is awesome to see The Lion King and know that you're watching
Hamlet.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, they don't really lean hard into the fact that this is William Shakespeare until, you hear Romeo and Juliet, and then you hear
They don't beat you over the head with it.
No, which is great.
Well, and even, I don't know, did you watch it with subtitles?
Yes.
They didn't even like name his character. The character's name in the subtitles was like husband.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know. It was like leather maker or something. They kept like using overt or not overt like references to who he was without saying he's William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Billy Shakes.
Exactly. They it could, because in a way it's like she is the main protagonist of the movie.
Yeah.
And you see him through her eyes. And so for her, he's not like, in all caps, William Shakespeare, he's just her, like her husband. Yeah. And the father of her kids, And so whenever Hamnet dies, she's not thinking of like, oh, he's got an important plays to write and change the world. It's like, he's supposed to be here, he's got to do more and help out more. So,
hey, she's the one who sent him to London.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he probably should have been around.
Well, and it's like, that's common from my understanding of parents who lose children. They have double the divorce rate of any other couple.
Yeah, it devastates a family.
Yeah, and it a lot of times destroys the marriage.
Yes,
because it's like there's all you can do is like you have all these emotions and you can just turn them on each other. So, and like you see in the movie, they do a great job at depicting that sort of misplaced resentment and anger and frustration and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah they definitely it strains their marriage a lot. But the movie, offers a lot of speculation that this death fueled the play of Hamlet, which came 2 or 3 years after the death of Hamnet. Because after this he pivoted from comedies to Hamlet
tragedies,
to probably his greatest tragedy. And the idea that the movie also speculates on is that it helped repair his marriage, basically, of like, it helped Agnes like process her grief in seeing the play and realizing it helped her see the situation through his eyes.
Yeah, comprehend his way of processing the grief and how he perceives it.
Yeah, and how, like a lot of artists, he uses art to deal with things like that. So then that's something that people who are not artists don't understand so much.
Anything to avoid going to therapy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So what did you think?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really well-made movie. It's a pretty compact 2 hours, right? They cover a lot of ground. I thought pacing was great. Set design was great. Costumes, cast, acting. She definitely, Jessie Buckley, definitely deserved the best actress for this performance. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah.
She knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen her in a ton of stuff before.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to see like kind of a fresh face and see a performance like that come out of a movie you didn't really expect.
She was in a movie that I think we did a few years called Women Talking. We did a Best Picture series a few years ago. And she was in one of the movies where it was like the women.
What's that? Yeah. It's like that's like the women in the barn, like discussing all leaving their husbands at the same time. That's right.
Yeah, and they were like abused wives in like the kind of sort of quasi Mennonite community.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. That rings a bell.
So yeah, she was one of the wives in that. So
she has a good track record.
That's the first thing I remember seeing her in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I thought Paul Mescal was also good. I thought his performance deserved more recognition. But it was a very emotional movie, start to finish.
Yeah.
You kind of see their relationship blossom and then kind of fall out and, grow and then fall. And which has a lot of themes in the next movie we'll do as well. But
yes,
I enjoyed it. I think there were just plot points that sort of fell flat to where, I'm shaving off a couple points in general, but I'll give this an 8. I thought it was really good. I think it really had potential to be a great movie. But I think the ending didn't sit great with me. It just kind of ended.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't a super satisfying ending. I don't have any super specific notes on it.
It didn't give you a good firm closure that some people.
It wasn't a resolve. It was just an end.
Musically, it was a hanging note.
Yeah, it was an unresolved note.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought the tie-in with when Hamnet dies, you kind of see him behind the veil in that like weird liminal space between life and death, and he's looking around, and then he fades into that doorway, and you're like, oh, that's weird. What is it? And then you see the set, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. I liked that tie-in, and then you kind of see the ghost of Hamnet kind of give like a little wink to his parents before he disappears.
Yeah,
kind of dumb. Artsy, I get it.
Yeah, it was a choice for sure.
It was a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it an 8. I think it was a good movie.
Yeah, I would say 8.5 for me.
Yeah.
One small notch up for me. But yeah, beautiful movie, well shot, great atmospheric music. Again, both of these movies we're going to talk about, this one and the next one, are incredible in terms of their tone that they strike, the atmosphere. They're perfectly rendered movies. But yeah, this is a great movie to watch, great movie to listen to. The dialogue was great. All the lead performances were awesome. I liked Emily Watson as Shakespeare's mom also, who kind of came around from being a little bit severe in the beginning, and she really softened towards Agnes.
Yeah, started being a little bit more nurturing, especially when she was giving birth, and
yeah,
she was just like, you're going to do this. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Even though, theoretically, if she had gone to the tree, she might have been better.
Yeah.
Better off.
Maybe so.
With some witchy vibes.
Yeah.
You know?
That was a crazy sequence, too, of giving birth and, kind of Wiccan style out in the trees.
Yeah.
So that was wild.
Yeah. All of the birthing scenes were very intense.
Yeah.
All two of them.
And God.
Yeah, she just popped that thing out in the tree.
Yeah.
Just cut to black and she's holding the baby.
Man. Yeah, that was wild. That was crazy. Now, because it's like, now to have children like that, it's an event with, doctors and nurses and all directions. And,
yeah, because it used to be really easy to die from childbirth.
Yeah. Which people always talk about, the life expectancy was 40-something years. That's why.
Yeah. It's because a lot of babies died,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of children died, and then a lot of parents died during childbirth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and even if they did survive, a lot of kids would die of plague.
Yeah. So that brought the life expectancy down quite a bit on average.
And that's why you have like the Monty Python skit of them going around with a wheelbarrow full of dead people.
Bring out your dead.
Yeah. That exists for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great movie. Both of these movies, I don't know the rewatchability of them because this is
it's a hard watch.
It's an intense, emotional.
Yeah.
It's an experience, and I don't know that it would hold up. I already want to watch One Battle After Another. I want to go back and watch that again.
Yeah. No, I think when Paul Mescal walks into the room right after Hamnet died, it's like a heart-wrenching, just gut punch of a scene, and everything between him and his wife from that point until the end of the movie, that whole third act is just sad and tragic.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, it's even in the best moment, bittersweet.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But a great movie, worth watching. But yeah, it is intense. It does cover dark subject matter. Anybody that's enthusiastic about Shakespeare should watch it, for sure.
Oh, anybody who's enthusiastic about Shakespeare already knows about this movie.
Yeah. And
100% has watched it and
should check it out.
Has corrected somebody on actually.
Clearly, the Globe.
Clearly, the Globe Theater at the time was actually populated by...
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. And so, yeah, I would recommend it highly.
Yeah, same. Ditto.
But yeah, 7 and 7s. Check them out. This is a Wofford family staple.
The old family recipe, is that right?
Yeah, it is. It dates back generations. One part Seagram 7, one part 7-Up Sprite. It's nice.
Is it true the drink was invented in 1977?
It was. Yeah, the year Star Wars came out.
Could have been watching A New Hope and 7 and 7.
It was the year of the energy crisis and 7 and 7.
That's right.
So,
well, the first energy crisis.
Exactly. But before the one that's coming up now.
Well,
yeah. So, but yeah, this has been another episode of Cinema Vino. And yeah, check out Hamnet. Now streaming on Peacock. Great movies, only drunker. We'll be drunker when we finish these things, and we will see you next week for Train Dreams.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Old Man in the Woods.